Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question goes to the Minister for Climate Change and Energy. Why, during Labor's cost of living crisis, is the government proposing a tax increase of $15,000 on the price of a new Toyota Hilux?
Order. Order. Members on my right will cease interjecting. The member for Lyons will cease interjecting. So will the member for Cooper. The Minister for Climate Change and Energy has the call.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and I deeply appreciate the question from the member for Fairfax. And I also think it should be noted I appreciate the bravery of the Manager of Opposition Business for allowing that question, Mr Speaker. Not every Manager of Opposition Business, with everything he has on the record, would be strong enough to allow those questions to be asked. Now, the member asked me about price increases under a fuel efficiency standard or a new vehicle efficiency standard. Now, I would refer the honourable member to the impact statement which the Minister for Transport and I released several weeks ago, which says and makes clear evidence to date consistently finds no purchase price impact or negligible purchase price impact for consumers. And that's based on the experience right around the world, Mr Speaker. But to be fair to the impact analysis, others have said it better. Others have said it better. Others have said it much more eloquently than I have, Mr Speaker. For example, when this has been tried in the past in Australia to implement this important reform, it was pointed out that when, and I'm quoting, when fuel efficiency standards were introduced in the US, the most popular models before introduction stayed the most popular models after introduction. There wasn't a material change in price, and we don't expect there would be a material change in price here. That was the member for Bradfield, Mr Speaker. The Manager of Opposition Business is still in charge of the tactics, and he was a strong advocate. He put the case very strongly, very eloquently, Mr Speaker. There was an op-ed even in the Australian, Mr Speaker, joint between the member for Bradfield and the then member for Kooyong, the former future Prime Minister, Mr Speaker, who... And the headline, clean air and cars can be a much healthier mix. I table the op-ed, Mr Speaker, because the member for Bradfield, he was on a roll, Mr Speaker. He was on a roll in this op-ed. He said, fuel efficiency standards are about reducing fuel costs and carbon emissions at the same time. 80% of the global vehicle passenger fleet is subject to fuel efficiency standards, but Australia has none.
Member for Hume.
Australia has none, Mr Speaker.
Leader of the
and he's
Nationals.
right. And this is not a radical policy, Mr Speaker.
Order.
These standards have been in place, and this is where prices have not gone up, as have been in place in the United States since 1975, almost as long as the member for Fairfax and I have both been alive. 1975, Japan 1985, China 2005, Order. South Korea 2006, the European Union 2009, Canada in 2011, vehicle emission standards were introduced, Mexico in 2013, India in 2014. Mr Speaker, those woke warriors, those well-known renewable energy inner-city dwellers, the government of Saudi Arabia introduced fuel efficiency standards in 2016 and New Zealand in 2023. It is well beyond time for Australia to catch up. It is well beyond time for Australia's consumers to have access to the same choices that 85% of motorists around the world get, but motorists in Australia and Russia do not.